Children, in this chapter, we are going to study about several theories of origin of state. Initially, people began to think of a state as a divinely ordained institution. However, after some time, several thinkers tried to explain its origin on the basis of the factor of force. In this video, basically, I'm going to tell you about the divine origin theory of the state. That state is a divine institution. Rest of the theories I'll explain you in the other videos. So let's begin with the divine origin theory of the state. The oldest theory about the origin of the state is the divine origin theory. It is also known as the theory of divine rights of kings. The exponents of this theory believe that the state did not come into being by any effort of man. It is created by God. So they consider state as an institution which is created by God. The king who rules over the state is an agent of God on earth. The king derives his authority from God, and for all his actions he is responsible to God alone. So that means king is only responsible to God, not to the people. Obedience to the king is ordained to God, and violation of it will be a sin. King has to fulfill the wishes of God. That means king is a representative of God on earth. The king is above law, and no subject has any right to question his authority or his action. The king is responsible to God alone. The conception of the divine creation of the state may be traced back to remote antiquity. It was universal belief with the ancient people that the king is the representative of God on earth and state is a bliss of God. Thus, the king had both political and religious entity. The divine origin of the state is gleaned first the Old Testament of the Bible. This theory prevailed in the old age when religion and politics were combined in the person of the king. Both the church and the state, in their mutual rivalry, used this theory of the divine origin in the medieval age. Then, this divine origin theory is criticized by some of the thinkers. The first line of argument of Gilchrist is that the state is a human institution organized in an association through human agency. Modern political thinkers don't accept the view that God has anything to do with the creation of the state. The second line of argument is that the divine origin theory is fraught with dangerous consequences because a semi divine king is bound to rule arbitrarily as he is responsible only to God and not bound to heed public opinion. Such a theory will make the ruler despotic or an autocrat. The third line of argument is that the divine theory is not at all, it is a dangerous theory, it is a conservative theory, and it is not at all realistic because a bad ruler will continue to rule under the divine shield. Then the fourth line of argument is that the New Testament of the Bible reversed the divine conception of the state as ingrained in the Old Testament. Precisely in the contemporary age of liberal democracy, no one gives any real importance to this theory of divine origin because the thinkers consider this theory as a very dangerous theory. Also, it only talks about kingship. No, there is no theory of democracy. So this is against democracy because it supports the principles of divine rights of the king. against the democratic principles of sovereignty of popular will or sovereignty of the people. Then most of the thinkers, they also consider it more of a religious theory and less of a political theory. So it fails to recognize the state and government as the political institutions of society. So my dear children, in my next video I'll explain you about the evolutionary theory and the social contract theory. Thank you so much, children.